have to do that, you know, in Atlanta or Columbus or Memphis. The dancers are, like, even in Memphis is not a house dance community. Memphis is a juking community. And guess what? The juckers were there.
That's
you know what I'm saying? It did not matter. Right. It was like, this is the vibe. And we could dance to anything. And guess what? A lot of those juckers that came to Jungle Boogie, now they're doing house dance.
That's fire.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people that you see, you know, working with Nike and doing, you know, all these other tours with Missy and Megan that are from Memphis, came to Jungle Boogie. And then now they're doing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. So it's like, it's so needed. It's so vital. It don't matter, you know, what your style of dance is. You know what I mean? If you feel it, you feel it. And that's all. That's the only reason you need to get down, you know? And so I'm doing my best to really bridge that gap. Because I want to see them on the floor. And when they're on the floor, it gives other people permission to, you know, be themselves and express, you know, how they want to. And it's so funny because if I was in another city, I'm like, oh my God, these ciphers are too much. Like, give some room for the other people on the dance floor.
Right.
And now, and here it's like the total opposite. Like, yo, where y'all at?
Oh my God.
So,
no, but
it's being a servant to the people. You know, we all trying to heal.
Yeah, I think it's powerful work though, really. Like, I think that a lot of people, and the way that you describe it is so beautiful, the way that you create space and create community through your own work. And I think that I feel like a lot of people, a lot of folks just may have a more disconnected perspective over really what creating a space is like or what the purpose of it is, you know? And I think that there's so much weight in being able to create a space not only for yourself but other people to come in and really like not only see a side of themselves or just be in community, you know what I mean? And
for
I think
sure.
that, it really just makes such a difference. And I would say especially now, I think that having those physical spaces is just so much more important, and our attention and our priority should definitely be set into being and cultivating these spaces.
Yeah, because when I was doing Jungle Boogie, and Idapo felt very much the same way.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Idapo.
Yeah, and so quickly with Jungle Boogie, once the party was over, all of those people, every last person at that party is coming to my house. To my house for another after party, for us to hang out. Then I have my friend, you know, who had the food stamp hookup, and so she's cooking breakfast for everybody, you know what I mean? We got another DJ, and some of these people are at my house at 9 in the morning. Another aspect of house and community that I don't always get to see here or experience here.
For sure.
So Idapo, my Babalawo's sister came to me with an idea. She actually was partner with Stan Zev, who did the Tambor Cruise Party. And so he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. And she was like, well, I still want to do it. You know, she was a travel agent. She'd been with the Royal Caribbean for 20, 30 years or so. So she came to me and said, hey, do you want to do a cruise? I was like, I've never done a cruise before. Don't worry, I'm like, well, I know how to book people. Talent's nothing. You can do that cruise shit, because I don't know nothing about it. And so that's what we're gonna do.
Right.
And then the pandemic hit.
Wow.
And so that shit was wild. Not only people, dying, the whole thing with the vaccinations, people wanted to get them. Like some DJs was like, fuck that. Some were like, yeah, I got it, I'm getting the double dose and all this other stuff. And so at that time, like the Royal Caribbean was like forcing everyone to get, the vaccination. I was like, hey, now I didn't sign up for this. You know what I mean? Like, wait. And so we just went through some back and forth, and just I decided not to go through it because I was like, I don't want that blood on my hands. End of the day, I decided to do it on the news. There was a Royal Caribbean ship, and 55 people had COVID and they couldn't dock. So I was like, oh my God, we had already, this was supposed to be a 7-day cruise.
Right.
So imagine if someone gets, COVID or,
it's good.
30 people, then we can't dock. So that could be another 14 days at sea.
On a boat. That's crazy.
No. Not on my watch.
Yeah, definitely not.
Not on my watch. I don't care whatever, what you think of me. I don't give a fuck about capitalism like that, whatever. I'd rather see you alive and I'm alive and we're still,
under the ocean.
Under the ocean, on the ocean, still, No, I don't want to deal with that. And in between that, to kind of gear up for the cruise, I started doing these parties here. I started at the African American Museum, which was perfect at the time. It was perfect because even though it was a museum, the building was somebody's home at one point. And so to feel like, it was still on my grandma's front porch, I love that feeling.
That's beautiful.
And also, people are enslaved there. And so, for me, like I still have this dream event to do like an Idapo or Jungle Boogie at the Whitney Plantation. To switch the energy or whatnot, you know what I mean? And so, that's why I really like that space, the African American Museum, because it wasn't necessarily, not just for the people, the community that we were creating there, but also the dead and the people who were there before. Like, this is also for you too, And so it was a great start. We had some very unethical things happen with us, with the museum, and we left. It was like, oh, okay, we're not dealing with that, and we ended up going to the rabbit hole for the rest. But it wasn't the same because we pretty much built out this event within a museum, whereas we love the whole plug and play of Rabbit Hole, but the actual feel of it feeling like a home actually meant something to us. Us, being on the ground where, people were enslaved and we're conjuring that energy to give this feeling, this joy to them. Like, that was important to us. So, it being that rabbit hole is great, but it's like, the magic is gone. The magic is not the same. And so, it's definitely, always the ancestors when it comes to me and this music and dance. Like, they're always a priority.
For sure.
Mine and yours. You know what I mean? I've had many parties where people have told me their ancestors have come to them on the dance floor.
That's so beautiful.
That means something to me. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And which is also a reason why I don't like cell phones on the dance floor, because there are moments where people are in a space, you know, whether they be on shrooms or just even be caught up in the music and spirit hits.
Right.
None of that shit should be on camera. If you were there, you were there.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, no, this is not a spectacle.
Right.
You know, this is not a game here, you know? So,
No, I definitely see that.
yeah, you know, even some DJs have to be careful with what they play. You know, like I do play a lot of Orisha music, but I played an event last year, and it was strictly for the ancestors. They were, you know, in the tradition. And so it's like, okay, fine. I'm play for the ancestors, play for the Orisha or whatnot. That was my first time experiencing the Orisha come down. I was like, wait. Nah, y'all, this is a gig. I'm just here to play from 6 to 9, and that is it. I am not supposed to be here with Oya in front of me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With Oshu, yeah, like, wait, this is supposed to be a gig.
How did you feel? I mean,
Oh,
I know
I
that.
was bawling.
Right.
I was like, why are you here? Why are you here? And then for them not to even be there for the other people. They were there for me.
you.
I was like, look, y'all. Have you ever been? I was like my parents or my grandparents coming to my event. I was like, you're embarrassing me. Stop that. And no, they were loud. They were so loud. And I was like, what in the absolute fuck is going on here? And they said what they needed to say. And he told me to keep playing. I was like, hey. I'm supposed to be done at 9 o'clock. What are you doing? Why? He was like, keep playing. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to keep playing. He said their messages. I was like, all right, this has got to be a fluke. I know that some people in this tradition fake shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen.
Yeah, and everything. So I've seen, you know, people
Right.
calm down and be like, you know, oh, Batala said. Okay, dude. But I was like, that happened on a Friday. So that Sunday, I'm DJing for Essence at their SoCo market or whatever. These same people, I just kind of had a thought of that moment, just like a flashback. I was like, damn, that was some wild shit. And they were saying, one of those people that went into possession walked right in front of me at their gig. They didn't know where I was playing. They didn't know. Walked right in front of me. And I was like, okay,
Yes.
this is no fluke. Y'all are here.
That is so.
I'm going to listen and be obedient. But luckily, there were people already initiated, and priests and priestesses that were already in there, because what if there weren't? You have to have them all willy-nilly all on Barone Street?
Right.
Absolutely not. No. Because somebody has to, like, once you bring them down, you also have to know how to send them back. You have to know how to send them back. And so if you don't, good luck. Good luck, and I don't want no parts of it either. I don't want no parts. You can tell me about it 2 weeks after.
Right.
I'm like, ooh, child, that was a lot. You okay though? Yeah, but that's all I want. I don't want no parts of that. So yeah, you know, the intention of even just playing Orisha music is very, very important. Because, you know, these spirits are real. Yeah. And they may let you play with them for a little bit until they let you know they ain't to be played with at all. You know what I'm saying? So.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting to be all crying about that, but yeah, that was a moment though. That actually just happened last year. Like,
wow.
What is this, June? So yeah, this was like the first day of like Essence shenanigans.
So like right
yeah.
around the corner. So I kind of want to pivot a little bit and still talk about what you're just talking about, but specifically, I guess talking about New Orleans, its influence within your, or I guess probing a little bit deeper into how the city has informed your own creative process, and really talking about the spaces that you have created here.
How has New Orleans informed me? I think we've been doing, I think it's been a more of a symbiotic relationship. We're informing each other. Here, it definitely, like, I'm from Memphis. I'm already from the city of the dead. If you, like, that's what, you know, the pyramids in Egypt, that's what Memphis was. And so, to be in another city of the dead, this is a very Oya city, you know, so the dead are always at the forefront with anything, you know, period, just life and like the notion of life and death here is just so right in my face. And I've never felt that anywhere in any other city. But it's so prevalent, you know, the spirits and the dead. I'm always kind of, I'm not going to say in that world, but definitely, what's the best word to say it? Being a steward of them in a sense. So when I create events, it's for, you know, my dead, it's for your dead, it's really for the upliftment of them, the lightening up of them, the elevation of them. Because the cities went through a lot of traumatic shit, just like Memphis has, you know what I mean? And so, in Memphis, I always knew, like when I do Jungle Boogie, I always know on a universal level that I did a good job by the weather the next day. It didn't matter what it felt like the day before, but once the event was done, the weather was, it was unbelievably beautiful. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And so here, you know, I still have the same intentions. I think it's just more so of lightening the trauma of not only, the people here living, but those aren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've had some things told to me, and I'm like, that sounds like it's needed, but that sounds like a huge bill that I don't know I can cover. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I've had this woman, I was in this botanica in Florida, this Haitian botanica. She was like, oh, you need to do something for those with Katrina. I'm like, baby, little old me, I hear you. I'm gonna do what I can, but what you talking, that's a tall order. I'll wait for them to send me a few more confirmations, because sometimes I need those before I know that that's real. Your spirits could just be saying anything to me. I don't know about that. But I still think about it because we're talking about it now. You know what I mean? The elevation of the dead that's a priority to me.
Definitely.
And so that kind of, informs how I bring these spaces about. They're always at the forefront. Like even, I did a couple of things on Bayou Road. Bayou Road is a very special place to me. Because I found that when I've made offerings on Bayou Road, I get something. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not trying to, but it's like I make these offerings, and they're like sonic offerings, or it could be Agni Hotra or whatever. You know what I mean? And then something be like, thanks for that. Okay. I'm gonna lay this on you. Like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? So me noticing that relationship with Mia and Bayou Road, I always like to give her flowers, sonic flowers in some sort of way. Yeah, because I know it's not, just the people walking. It's for those unseen as well. You know what I mean? And that's why I also don't give a fuck about some parties not necessarily having a lot of people per se. I'm like, you know how many ancestors are with you? You know how many ancestors are with you? I think we're good. You know what I mean? If I have already, with intention, are inviting not only mine into the space, but yours too, we good. You know what I'm saying? So my level of success doesn't look like everybody's, because it sure isn't attached to fucking capitalism. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's about bringing all of ourselves into this space so we can heal and free up.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for that. And kind of coming into, I want to expand it a little bit, getting out of New Orleans, but I guess talking about the underground scene or the house scene or just the music scene in the South, like where you see it today or where you see it progressing to, growing. Kind of talking a little bit about that.
The South definitely has something to say. I would say in this scene, the people that are, I'm not going to say at the forefront, but they're definitely like, that they're out there. They're from the South. Byron the Aquarius, Ash Lauren, Alexis Crochet, Kai Alce, Chemist. You know, a lot of these people, you know, we're all from the South. And I there's a part of me, I'm not as worried as those that are older than me as far as the future of this music. I know just from the producers and the DJs that I've seen already out, they were in good hands. It is just my hope that we can really get back to really fostering this dance culture that goes along, that's married in, that's intertwined, you know, with this music. You know, that's the future that I would like to see. Because the music is there, the music's gonna progress, I'm hearing it. You know, the vocalists, I'm hearing it. It's this dance floor that I'm fucking concerned about.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's the dance floor. It really, really is. Yeah, I'm just sad that the way it has devolved. And it's so weird in a city that is very full of expression. When you think of Second Line and think of the improvisation of that, you think of the improvisation of jazz. And it's like, okay, that's great, you got it there. Bring it here.
Right.
It's the same stuff. You know what I mean? Like, Second Line, how far is it from Lindy Hop and the Charleston? How far is that from house dance, doing the farmer? You know what I mean? It's not.
It's not.
You know, you do the beats, rearrange the beats a little differently, say little things different, but it's still the same, you know what I mean? And they translate very easily. And so that's something I want to figure out.
Yeah.
You know, I've been pulling the call out. Like, no tea, no fucking shade. Like, there was, and I didn't even go. I'll probably go tomorrow just so I can see and then be like, hey, y'all, this is great, but I need y'all somewhere else. There's an event at the CAC right now called the Gumbo Cypher. So it's a cypher, all these people,
Right.
in an artistic, in an institution. The institution should be your club.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is great. But how is the everyday person gonna really experience this? Unless they go to, and you shouldn't have to. You know what I'm saying?
It's commodification of something that doesn't belong to them, ultimately. As an institution, especially as an institution of power in this city. Yes, no. Which is something I wanted to talk to you about too, which I think that kind of coming back to what you were just saying, like your concern over dance culture and in general, like these spaces that are deeply intertwined with the New Orleans community or the local community, no matter what city, but specifically in the South. Very intentionally talking about the South. About knowing that these interconnections are being made by people in the community, but these institutions are looking to commodify and alienate this away from people, and quite literally through capitalism. But you know, and I was really thinking about like, I know you had the party I'm Not Your War Drum, and that was I was there, so I was like, I really loved it.
Thank you.
But it really just brought me into this mental space of like, and that's something that I constantly talk about with my friends and the people that I'm around. And it's just like knowing the importance of a physical space to not only bring people together musically, but also knowing that we're all here. We can all share this space and share these resources amongst ourselves to build upon something. The same way that other physical spaces have been utilized in that way. But I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. But what I'm trying to say basically is just, yeah, like the interconnections of that and how deeply intentional it is to know that that disconnect amongst these institutions of power cannot be ignored, and we have to be very intentional about setting aside from those places, those things that say they have these resources, and building upon.
Yeah, they got the resources.
Yeah.
Right, got the resources, but it's like, but the people that actually benefit it are not able to because the access,
right,
by whatever means. You know what I mean? Definitely. But it's like, you can get them in a club faster than you can get them in a museum to still see and experience this art. You know what I mean? This art that's in motion. And I don't know what it is. I do want to have a round table with DJs and dancers to find the disconnect. Because I can't say that I have seen it anywhere else. Yeah, I really see it here.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, there are people that have their clubs, they b-boy clubs, and they go practice, you know, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But on Saturday, they hit in the club.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just don't necessarily see that. Or maybe I don't know what club they're going to. I'm not gonna say I know everything, you know what I'm saying? But I've been here since 2019, and I ain't necessarily seen it yet. I'll see it in spurts, little spurts. So it's like, oh wow. I think.
Any examples that come to mind of places, or I guess?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the last time I've seen, like, Sekou, he says ciphers. You don't make ciphers, they just happen, right? So, I would say the last time I just saw a cipher happen might have been a Send the Flow in February. I don't know, I was just walking by, and yeah, they were
just popping up.
Yeah, and I'm like, there you go, all right, that's great, you know what I mean? And it's like, I also know that a lot of times people are self-conscious. But you know, if you have thrown parties enough, oh, you know to cut the fucking lights off.
Yeah.
Real simple. And it gets them out of their shit. That didn't help, I had the smoke machine. It'll help them get out of their shit. And they'll loosen up and not even care who's next to them. Because guess what? By the time they close their eyes, they probably can't see who's next to them. And I've had those moments before. Winter Music Conference in 2008, I went to the Objectivity Party, and it was like the Martinez brothers, can't think of this other DJ, and Charisma. Charisma's like one of my favorite DJs on the planet. And so he's playing, and it sounds like he's communicating with extraterrestrials. Like whatever he's doing, it sounds like Morse code to the extraterrestrial. I was like, what? And so my mind is gone because I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? And I closed my eyes, just kind of taking it all in. And then I opened my eyes and I couldn't see nobody. Not in the front, left, or the right. It was just me. I boo-hooed. I boo-hooed. I'm like, oh my God, what is this feeling right here? And so it was such a moment that like changed my life, like, you know, how the potential of how a DJ can make a person feel, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, we can do this? Okay, got it. I've heard people, you know, tell me that I've helped them exorcise demons on the floor. okay.
Yeah.
This shit is serious. And a lot of people take it for a game. And I don't. Because I know the influence of music. We see that shit on the radio. And then we see how the radio and life, then they're imitating each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a great power in this energy. You know what I mean? And sometimes we use it wisely. Sometimes we don't. I also like to use certain things to not necessarily trick people. Seduce them is a better word. Seduce them into this. So like in Memphis, before I threw Jungle Boogie and I was just, playing my music, I couldn't get a black person to come to my party. I couldn't. Somehow, with the music that I was playing, I was incorporating like trap music. So, trap with an Afro house beat worked. So, a couple of those, and then, some Celia Cruz singing to Yemaya,
Yes.
it ushers them into a different direction. So sometimes, you have to use what they know in order to seduce them to something else. You know what I mean? But, the ultimate goal is over this way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
For sure. No, I see it. I see it definitely. And that's very beautiful. I think that you were saying, earlier, like being a steward to carrying that. And I think that that is a very powerful thing, because you're not only teaching somebody about themselves, but also just like in the grander scheme of things, like they are making those connections based off what they're listening to, what they're experiencing.
Exactly.
And that's a very powerful thing. I mean, that's what art does. So what it intends to do, to move people, quite literally.
Move people, for sure. Because the amount of people who I've talked with who are more, tending to their ancestors and ancestral reverence, or who even might have gotten, interested into the orishas or whatever, or just, something with their self-esteem or whatever, or how they showed up in the world, you know what I mean, might have been shifted because of this music, you know what I mean, in this space. So it's very important, and I don't take it for granted.
Yeah. So we're got maybe one or two more questions left.
Sure.
My next question, I want to talk about, I guess that like, just along the lines of like where you see yourself or wanting to see yourself move into in this like following seasons that are coming for you, and really what that intentional energy that you're setting for, and talking about that.
So, if all goes well, within the next 2 years, I'll be in the priesthood.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and so that will definitely take precedence over my life.
Of course.
Of course, I will still use this music if they allow it. You know what I mean? Because they could be like, hey, you had a nice run. We want you to do something else. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, wait a minute, but I just been all this time. But I don't think they'll take that away from me. But it'll definitely be more focused in priesthood. And I'm not rushing production.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, I've made music. I've been making music since forever. I don't make music for human consumption or public consumption, because I don't think everything has to be monetized or whatever thing. Some things are just for me, and making music has just been for me. So maybe it could be for some other people down in the future. But really, priesthood and DJing all over the world. That's pretty much where I want to be. In a hermit, in hermit mode, you know what I mean? Pop out when I need to, but...
You're catering to you and your own. And I think that that's a very powerful thing to do.
Yeah, because that's a lot to tend to.
Yes,
It's a lot to tend to. It's like...
Yeah, for sure. And it teaches, I think that just based on, I don't know, I feel like those reflections, not only from oneself but to the other, can teach us a lot about presence. When we see people standing in themselves fully and really being intentional about their lives and everything, I think that really shows us more about ourselves. People can interpret it in many ways, but
right.
I think that when it's interpreted through a positive, beautiful light, we can all, see more of each other, and see more of ourselves, and
yeah,
all that
for
falls
sure,
into our own selves. So
yeah,
that's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And my last question is, what would you like to see more of in the South in terms of, within the house scene, but just in general in terms of celebrating culture? What is on that?
I just want people to dance more.
Mm-hmm.
Dance, because it's healing.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up, music is healing. Music is helping people with dementia.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's helping with their memory. You know what I'm saying? Even just moving helps, those with dementia. You know what I mean? And so it's just very important that we really truly see this as a healing modality.
Mm-hmm.
And not just something as, just entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I use binaural beats.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a toothache, or if there's something bothering me, or if my cat is getting on my nerves or something like that, I'll throw in some binaural beats and
a low frequency.
Yeah. 20, 30 minutes later, we good. Everybody's good. You know what I'm saying? So it's real.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely real, and I can't take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
This thing has healed me.
Mm-hmm.
So I also wanted to heal other people and, allow them to get what I also got.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. It's been a treat.
For sure.
Thank you, guys.